Hello, I'm Mark Chilero, the owner of MS Classic Cars. Today, it's a great day because I'm sitting behind an absolutely awesome 1972 Pontiac Trans Am Custom that has been nicknamed Code Red. To start off this video here, this is a non-rehearsed video. There's going to be a lot of things during this video here that I'm certain to miss. I am going to use this cheat sheet, if you will, to touch base on some of the features of this vehicle, but in case you'd like to learn more about it, and I do forget some things throughout the presentation, you can check it out on our website at msclassiccars.com. We have a full description, we have beautiful photography, so you can go and see every square inch of this automobile. This is a very, very special car. I also would like to make note, I only collect #1 and #2 condition vehicles. This particular vehicle here is clearly at a very, very high level. I would put this car for sure in the top 50 as far as quality of an automobile that we've ever owned here at MS Classic Cars. For anybody who appreciates second-generation Camaros, which are very similar to the second-generation Trans Ams and Firebirds and so forth, we had the Grinch, which was built by the Ring brothers. That was a very, very high-end custom car. It sold at Barrett-Jackson in Las Vegas for $300,000+. I would definitely put this car in the category of quality of the Grinch. When you really dissect the two cars, they are very, very similar. This car is absolutely super spectacular and super special. Now, getting into the service, we are the only classic car dealership in the country who services every vehicle we sell, and we document that work with an invoice. Please Google MS Classic Cars, do some research, ask anybody who knows of our company, and I guarantee you will hear nothing but positive things. So, I create a binder for every new vehicle that we list. In that binder is that invoice. We also have this invoice listed within our website description of the car as well. So you can clearly see everything that we've done to the car. We invested a total of $8,365.88 in this particular vehicle. Part of the service invoice includes something that we offer after the sale, but I thought it would be a great idea because the quality of the bodywork and paint is so spectacular on this car. We went ahead and we ceramic coated it. So that is an $1,850 value. It's actually Gtechniq is the name of the company that we use. It's actually the platinum ceramic coating that we apply to the vehicle after we do the paint correction. We also did all of the glass, which they offer as part of this kit. We did the wheels, and we also did the interior. They put a protective coating actually on all those components as well, and that is included. Along with that comes this Gtechniq carrying case here, which is really cool. I'm just going to go ahead and open this up quickly for you so you can see it. It comes with its own bottles and spray nozzles and microfiber rags and so forth. We have this pictured within our description as well. So once again, this is included with the car. There is a 5-year guarantee with the Gtechniq product. Now, getting into the story of this particular car. The first thing I'd like to mention here is this was a collaboration between two very well-known people in the business. Number one, Jason Rushforth. He is actually a designer of cars. He actually owns a wheel company. I've been following him for years and years on all the Pro Touring websites and so forth. We've owned a few cars over the years that have had his wheels. The gentleman that he collaborated with, which they've done in the past on previous vehicles, is Bob Bertelsen. I'll reference him throughout the build as Bob. This vehicle was shown, once it was completed, it was shown at SEMA. It was Goodguys Muscle Machine year finalist. It also competed in multiple autocross events, including Goodguys, the Optima Challenge, and the Baer Speed Stop Challenge, obviously for Baer brakes, Optimas for the Optima batteries, and so forth. The car was also featured in Popular Hot Rodding magazine, Amcar magazine, and on the Muscle Cars calendar, American Muscle Cars calendar, which is all included. This car has also been used for many advertisements, such as American Autowire, Flex-a-Fit hoses for the radiators, Livorsi Automotive, and Mast Motorsports, who actually the engine was purchased from. So, to show you a little bit about the car here, some of the things I just went over, Bob actually put together this amazing book. I don't think in all of the years and all the cars I've owned, I've ever seen a book that was done like this is. He goes into so much detail as far as battery selection, turning on the power, how to start the car, the door locks, taillight demo. I mean, this is extreme attention to detail. So for the new purchaser, they can really spend the time, read all about how the car was wired, how everything works. I thought that was very, very cool. In this binder that I've created here, I've included, as I mentioned before, all the things that this car has done. I've included the original advertisements here from, this is an example from the American Autowire. Here's the car on the cover. Here's the car here from Livorsi Automotive. They do the gauges and so forth. This is actually the car on the cover of Popular Hot Rodding magazine. There's a beautiful spread. We put that spread on our website listing so you can see everything. Again, this is in plastic here. It's included. This is the Amcar magazine where the car had a featured spread in there as well. I had mentioned that it was also on a calendar. That calendar's right here. It's still in its plastic. You can see it was the cover car of the calendar. The gentleman that I actually bought the vehicle from, this was a display piece that he made for World of Wheels in 2017 in Boston. So that's pretty cool as well. And this here is another book that Bob had put together that was actually the renderings from Jason Rushforth when they got the car, like this whole entire dash display. There's pictures here. You probably see a lot of TV shows. Some of these talented car builders, they actually sketch out their own designs, like Chip Foose or Dave Kingdig or the gentleman from Iron Resurrection. They do great work. So that is included here. Then there's pictures of the entire restoration from start to finish when he got the car through the process. He's also put his own copies of the magazine articles, all the information, cars that he's had in the past. Again, Bob has had some spectacular cars, like this car here, this Camaro, was on the cover of Summon Racing and so forth. So anyway, just really good stuff that is included with the car. It's not always that we have this much information included. A few other things here that I'd like to just touch base on. Getting back to this here. So, first thing I'd like to say, regarding the restoration, he has in his description here that I kept in my binder that I made the whole Code Red story about how much this car meant to him because his dad and his mom had bought a 73 Firebird, why he selected that vehicle. He fast forwards a few decades later. He talks about Jason Rushforth and how they got together on the drawings and so forth. And then it talks about how the whole and restoration process went from start to finish. It just goes on and on. Once again, that's right from Bob. That story is very impressive. Then he goes on here to make a whole list of all the modifications and things that were done to the car. So again, I put all of that in order and everything is clearly included for the new owner. So this car is very well equipped with documentation. So let's get into the presentation of the actual car itself. So if you Google this car, you will find it on the internet. You will find some videos of the car being autocrossed. You'll find an interview with Bob on it. So you can learn even more about it after you watch this video if you choose to and you're interested in purchasing it. But the first thing I will say is starting with the exterior. The exterior of this car is truly one of a kind. And when I say that, every piece of sheet metal on this car has been fabricated or modified to make it completely unique from every other Trans Am that you're going to find. And the body work is impeccable. One of the best and straightest bodies, best gap lines of any vehicle that we've ever owned here at the dealership, which says a lot because we've owned some spectacular cars that I'm sure you've seen or you can reference on our website sold page at msclassiccars.com. There's got to be almost 700 vehicles for you to reference. My opinion of a vehicle is strong and I think well respected. So again, the body on this car is amazing. So starting with the hood. The hood is actually a completely custom hood. It's fiberglass. The hood was completely smoothed on the backside. I think in some of the notes that I referenced when I was reading Bob's description, he had over 100 hours just in the hood, making it as cool as it is. And you will see those heat exchangers that he custom made into the hood. I thought that was a brilliant idea, and it was such a well-designed hood. You'll see the locking hood caps there on the front. You'll see the beautiful stripe that he designed around it. So again, the hood itself is spectacular. When we get into the front nose, there has been so much modification work done to the front nose. Again, it looks nothing like a normal Trans Am in the sense that it was all fabricated. The fenders, the doors, the quarters, the deck lid, the rear tail end, everything on this car has been fabricated. So to touch base on a few of the things that were done, some of the custom items and so forth, the grille, the turn signals, and again, there was a lot of things that had to be changed, like the original license plate location and this and that. All that was cut out, smoothed, where the original turn signals were. They put new turn signals in, et cetera, et cetera. So these are all the kind of things I'm talking about. The front spoiler is custom made. They redesigned the bottom of it. It even has brake ducts that were molded into the front nose. It's got fender vents. These door handles were redesigned and so forth. The tail lights are all custom. Of course, they're LED. It's got a custom gas filler. The bumper was actually narrow. That was customized as well. Again, Bob has it spelled out in here of every single detail. They got rid of all the pinch welds. He welded the fenders to the inner fenders, smoothed the bottom sides. I can go on for days and days, but when you see all of the pictures of this car that we presented and in this video, and what I would like you to do is take this car, pull up a stock, 1972 Trans Am, look at the front, look at the sides, look at the back, and you will clearly see all the differences. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours and dollars were invested in making this body what you see here today. Again, super proud to have this in our collection. Can't say enough about it. Getting into the paint. BASF is the name of the paint brand that they used. He references that again in his notes. This is Viper Red. This is an absolutely beautiful color for this car. It's one of the nicest paint jobs that we've ever had at MS Classic Cars. It is extreme high-end show quality. Again, as I mentioned earlier, they made that awesome hood stripe that kind of wraps around the heat exchangers in the front. I think they did a great job with that. That's kind of like a smoked gray, and then you can see there's a pinstripe that follows that hood stripe, which is kind of a gold color, which I think works perfectly. And then you will notice on the exterior of the vehicle, there are gray accents throughout, like on the front end and so forth. So again, amazing job with the body, amazing job with the paint. The car really pops. And since we've paint corrected it and we've ceramic coated it, I think it looks better now than it probably ever has. Truly spectacular, something that when you see in person, it's memorizing is what it is. Now, all of the glass on the vehicle is tinted. It's all brand new glass. So all of it, I'm referencing the windshield, the rear windshield, the side glass, etc. The car does sit on brand new, these were custom made for this car. They're actually Jason Rushforth's wheels. Of course, he designed the car. He had to use his wheels as part of the deal here. These are called night trains. They're 19 by 10 in the front, and they're 19 by 12 in the rear. They have Nitto Invo tires. These wheels match the gray. It matches the color of all the accents and everything, so it's a really well thought out look. I think the wheels fit it like a glove, and it's truly what separates the car. Besides all the body modifications and everything, it really kind of puts the icing on the cake when you look at the wheels. So, enough said about the exterior. I'm going to get into the interior here. When I'm sitting in this car, again, it's like I'm sitting in a brand new vehicle. Everything has been done from top to bottom inside here. This was actually done by a company. I want to make sure I give them a shout out here because they did a great job. I wrote this in my notes somewhere on here. Oh, here it is. Appleman's. Appleman's Interiors are who did the interior. They're a well-known, well-respected company as well. And again, I can't say enough about it. So let's talk about some of the custom touches in here. Every piece of this interior is new and everything is custom. There's not one piece of this interior, not one piece that would represent something from the factory that you could order out of a catalog. You could only imagine what it would cost today to actually do this interior of this car. So the first thing is the headliner. That the leather in here, by the way, is a super high grade, very expensive leather. This is not a cheap simulated leather. This is the real deal. The headliner here is extremely tight. It's all customized. It has a roll cage back here that's nicely done, very discreet. The roll cage actually dips low and it actually flows into the front cabin, but it does not hinder you getting in and out of the vehicle, so I thought that was tastefully done. They wrapped the roll cage with the same leather material. It's got beautiful stitching on it, and then as you get into the driver's seat and passenger seat, there is an additional leather gray cover that I thought was really cool because what that does is it keeps the bar from getting scuffed up, and it also matches the gray part of the interior as well, all these gray accents. The pillars here, these are all covered in custom leather as well. There are areas up here for sun visors. In case you see that in our pictures, we do have sun visors that are included that can bolt up in there. We left it alone because that's the way we got the car. It has a little bit more of a smoother look. Plus the front windshield is slightly tinted, so the sun visors are really not necessary, but if the new owner wants to install them, he or she can. Again, those are included with the car. When we get into this rear view mirror, this is a very modern, new style rear view mirror. It actually is called, see if I can find it here, because it does have a name. Might have to skip over this. Oh, it's actually called Mito Corp is the name of it. And this actually has a built-in compass and temperature and so forth, which is really cool. I think this might be one of the first classic cars we've ever had with a mirror like that. Very nice. This entire dashboard, again, was rendered, designed. It's all fiberglass. They did a beautiful job with the contour of it and how it all fits inside the car. Everything is super, super tight. There's no gaps. You don't really see wiring or anything like that. They've got these vents up here, which they actually painted to match all the accents. These gauges The gauges were actually from the company that I had mentioned earlier. They've got the red built into the gauges. They've got all of the gray bezels here and everything. They just look spectacular. The gauges were actually inspired by a Nissan 350Z, which Bob mentioned in his notes and in his video that he did when he was being interviewed. So I thought they did a great job with that. Just to kind of break up the dash, you got this full, beautiful console here. We did add a brand new Sony touchscreen system here that's very, very modern. So let me just touch base on that for a second. It's a 7-inch unit. It does have a Kenwood amplifier. It's got 4 Alpine speakers, and it's got 2 Kenwood subwoofers, so it does have a killer sound system. So again, let's just burn through some of the options here where I'm looking at my notes. Livorsi gauges. It's got an I Did It tilt steering column. The column was actually painted gray as well. You can move it up and down. It's got custom vents. It's got these custom dash knobs and so forth. Let's see here. It's also got vintage air conditioning. Obviously, it's got this beautiful custom steering wheel. It's got twist machine paddle shifters. It's got a driver's remote mirror control, so you can control the mirror on the driver's side. It's got billet door handles. It's got cup holders that have been integrated into the door panels. It's got a Cadillac DTS shifter. It's got push button start, Billet Specialties pedals. It's got custom Pro Car. These are beautiful seats that were actually shortened slightly to fit in the car very nicely. It's got these really nice Simpson 3-inch cam lock seat belts. Again, this interior is absolutely spectacular. This is actually a keyless system, so there is actually no key. It's push button start. There's a trick to starting it, so you know nobody could just jump in and take off with it or know how to shut it off and so forth. So that's pretty cool. Again, I really can't say enough about this entire interior. You have to go on our website. You have to study these photos. Check it out. I think you'll be super impressed with it from top to bottom. Getting into the trunk compartment. The trunk compartment has its own hidden switch, which is really cool. That hood, that trunk is just like the hood. Hours and hours and hours of work went into it. It's got its own custom built-in spoiler to it. It locks nicely, unlocks nicely. You'll notice it's been upholstered in the same matching material as what you see here in the interior. There is a little panel that folds down. That panel allows you to get into this area where there's some extra storage compartment section that slides back and forth. It's got the battery cut off and everything back there. I just thought that the rear trunk compartment was really well designed. Now, getting into the engine bay. This engine bay is absolutely spectacular. I think he did a super job designing it. I think he went with a great choice as far as all the parts that were used. The first thing that I will make notice of is the Ring Brothers hood hinges. Again, those were painted to match or powder coated to match the entire theme of the car, all the gray accents and so forth. I think it looks absolutely perfect. As I mentioned earlier, the back side of the hood is all smoothed. You will notice that the firewall is smooth, the inner fenders are smooth, the whole entire radiator support is all customized and fabricated, and the focal point is that engine that you see under the hood. That engine, that is a LS. It's actually referenced as a 416, if you want to Google it, engine, and it has 575 horsepower with 540 foot-pounds of torque. It was built by Mast Motorsports. If you get on their website, check them out. Again, this car was featured in a lot of the ads that they've done over the years. It's got all their high-end internal components. This engine runs and sounds awesome. Talking about the sound of the vehicle, it does breathe through Sanderson headers, and it also breathes through a 2.5-inch custom exhaust system with Flowmaster mufflers. Bob wanted to keep that American kind of Flowmaster sound to the vehicle. I think that was a great decision. It sounds real mean when you start it. The engine is actually cooled by a Flex-a-lite aluminum radiator with dual electric fans. Just reading over my notes here, make sure I don't forget anything. The engine is actually coupled to a Bowler-built 4L80E automatic transmission with Bowler 2200 RPM stall torque converter and transmission cooler. And as I mentioned earlier, it does have these paddle shifters. So if you're driving the car, you know, in drive as a new car would have today, you can actually upshift and downshift with these paddles, which works great when you're, you know, getting on the road and having some fun, or you're doing autocross or whatever the case might be. The power from this motor is transferred to a new Chassis Works Fab 9-inch True-Trac POSI rear end with a Moser aluminum center section, Moser 31 spline axles, and Motive 3.75 gears. So it's got a tremendous drivetrain and so forth. Now, the undercarriage of the car. The undercarriage is actually, you'll notice in the back, the first thing I want to mention about the undercarriage is you'll notice how they fabricated the rear end of the vehicle, and they kind of brought down the contour similar to the way they designed the front, the dash and everything to that custom stainless fuel tank, which is painted. I thought they did a beautiful job. It all kind of looks like it's one piece underneath, but you will notice that the undercarriage was painted. It's obviously not painted the exact same color as the body. It's more of a textured paint to hold up for, you know, street driving and autocross events. It's more durable is what I'm getting at as far as the undercarriage is concerned. Really, really beautiful underneath. It's equipped with a PSC close ratio steering rack and pinion power steering unit, which works super well. The front suspension is a Detroit Speed Engineering front subframe assembly, which includes their control arms, coilovers, their sway bar unit. Detroit Speed is a great name in the world of classic cars when you're talking resto mods and pro touring and autocross and things like that. So he chose to use the best components up front. The rear suspension is also Detroit Speed Engineering, which is a 4-link system with coilovers. And then when you get into the braking system of this car, it is a power braking system that consists of Baer 14-inch disc brakes in the front with 6-piston calipers and 13-inch disc brakes in the back that are also Baer with 6-piston calipers as well. So again, when you really analyze the body of this car, the modifications that were done, the quality of the paint, the fact that everything on the exterior is new and one of a kind, all the glass, the wheels, you get into this interior here, which is completely handmade and one of a kind. You look at the engine bay, then you get into asking questions like, does the car have power steering? Yes, it does. Does it have power brakes? Yes, it does. Does it have air conditioning? Yes, it does. Does it have power windows? Yes, it does. How about power start? Yes, it does. Like it literally, you check off every single box on the list. Does it even have back seats? A lot of these cars don't have back seats. It even has back seats with a roll bar that can be removed for the passengers in the back. This is truly a vehicle that you can get in with your family, friends, etc. You can drive the wheels off of it. You can take it to car shows, win high awards like it has done in the past, or you can take it to an autocross event. It's not every day that you find a car like this. This is truly a one-of-a-kind. It's a great opportunity. We're super proud to have it at the MS Classic Cars dealership and part of our collection. This is a car today, if you were to build this car, you would easily spend $300,000–$400,000 on a car like this today. Do your research, do your homework, and I think you'll clearly agree. We appreciate you watching. If you have not signed up for our VIP email blast, please do so at msclassiccars.com. That is the best way to follow us. We have thousands of people on our email blast. If you have not followed us on social media yet, please do that as well. We're on all the social media networks. Once again, I appreciate you watching this video. Thank you so much. Time to rock and roll. I'm going to start this baby up. Fires right up, and she purrs like a kitten. That was a cold start, by the way. We haven't really started this vehicle today, so I'm going to let it warm up for a minute. It sounds really good. It has 1,680 miles on the entire restoration, so it's like a fresh build. Everything is in great working order. Once again, it's been fully serviced, fully detailed, and ready for you to enjoy. Thanks again. Appreciate you watching.